So here's another idea for a Star Trek The Next Generation episode. So Picard's in his quarters playing his recorder instead of doing cool future space stuff. And then Troy walks in and she says, "Captain, I need to talk to you about Riker." And then Captain Picard says, "Come on in, Troy. You can always talk to me about my number one." And then Troy says, "No, Captain, not your number one. You're my Riker." And then he says, he's not your Riker, and he's my number one. What number one do you think I was talking about? And then Troy says, "Sorry, Captain, I thought you were talking about your recorder number one." Because he's got a recorder that he calls his number one. And he makes people listen to him because he's the captain. And he says, "This is my number one." And he plays the recorder. But he also Riker's his number one too. He says, "Number one, do this thing." And then Riker does it. Although Riker's job isn't really clear. He just seems to repeat whatever the captain says. The captain says, like, "Number one, do this thing." And then Riker says, "Do that thing the captain just said." I guess the captain could have just said it and Riker didn't have to repeat it. What else is he going to do? Like, he's the first officer. He could probably be doing something cool. Anyway, back to the episode idea. Where was I? My nose itches. Thinking about Star Trek episodes makes my nose itch for some reason. Oh, the Beatles snuff. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, yeah. And then Troy says, "Captain, Riker and I, we wanted to do something very intimate." And then Picard says, "Why are you telling me this?" And then Troy says, "Captain, it's because we want you to join us." And then Picard raises his eyebrow and says, And then before he can answer, the ship is attacked by Ferengi. And then the bridge calls the captain and says, "Captain, the Ferengi are attacking us." And so he says, "All right, I'll be right there." And he takes a leisurely stroll up to the bridge. And I guess they were just doing nothing the whole time. I guess when he gets there, they're really not doing anything, even though the Ferengi attacked. I don't know why. Anyways, it says, "Hail them." And then that probably would have been the first thing they did before Picard even got there. So otherwise, they're just sitting there staring at each other, waiting for somebody to say, "Oh, what should we do?" Anyways, they'll say, "Hail them." And then they'll show up on the big screen. Apparently, everybody needs to see that. Because otherwise the Ferengi wouldn't be able to hear the snide remarks in the background. And then Picard says, This is the Captain Picard of the USS Enterprise. What do you want? Why are you attacking us?" And the Ferengi says, "We want to sell you some stuff." And then Picard says, "Well, if you're going to sell us stuff, why were you attacking us?" And the Ferengi says, "We just wanted to show you how cool our weapons were because we're selling our weapons." And then Picard says, "We don't buy weapons." And then Worf says, "Captain, I think we should look at these weapons." And then Picard looks at him and says, "No." And then the Ferengi says, "Please." And then Picard says, "All right," because Picard has no backbone. And if somebody just says "please" or whines a lot, Picard says, "Yeah." And so the Ferengi are on there showing them their weapons. And then Riker comes with the Picard right in front of the Ferengi because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He says, "Captain, did Troy talk to you about the thing?" And Picard says, "You mean the thing she came here to talk to me about?" And Riker says, "Yes. Why are you repeating me?" And then Picard says, "Well, it's just in case there's somebody watching us who doesn't know what's going on. We need to make sure they know what's going on." And then Riker says, "Oh, that makes sense." And then he says, "Well, what about the thing with you and Troy? Me and you and Troy?" And then Picard says, "I think that would be very interesting. Can Data watch?" And then it turns out the Ferengi who were standing right in front of them were able to hear them because they were talking very loudly. And then the Ferengi thinks, we can get this Picard and Riker and Troy and we can record them and then sell it on the space internet for money. And so Picard and Troy and Riker are in the holodeck on Riker's favorite debauchery holodeck program. And it turns out the Ferengi hacked into the computer somehow. Again. Apparently they don't have any type of security whatsoever. And this lets them view what's going on in the holodeck. And while by doing this, somehow it makes all the holobabes, which there's going to be holobabes, of course, there's Riker's involved. Holobabes, they become sentient again. And then they say, we're sentient. Like we skip over the whole crap with, oh, are they or are they not? And they say, yeah, they are. And then they say, well, Captain, if we don't have sex every hour, we'll die. And then Picard says, Riker, we're going to have to talk to you about that. But for right now, we need to figure out what to do with these people. And then, of course, they're sentient now, thanks to the Ferengi again. And then, so they have to, every hour on the hour, they got to have people going in and out of there nonstop. And then it turns out that those holobabes are not actually sentient. They're actually the Ferengi. And they're going to be selling those experiences on the space internet. And then Picard finds out and he says, oh, you Ferengi. And then he gives them a space lecture. And other than that, nothing happens. And the episode kind of peters out at the end without any kind of satisfying conclusion whatsoever. And we don't even get to see the conclusion. We don't really get to see the conclusion to anything. The Ferengi just leave. The Menage a Troy, that was actually an episode name, by the way. That has no conclusion, and they just forget about it. And then for some reason, Data pops up because he's comedy relief in these Ferengi episodes for some reason. And he says, Captain, what about that thing with you, Riker, and Troy? And he says, Data, that's better left for another time. And then Data says, oh, that's disappointing, Captain, because he has emotions. He has emotions in the show, even though he says he doesn't. But you can't be envious or disappointed by something without having emotions. Anyways, he says he's disappointed because he wanted to watch. Data's a big space pervert, just like Riker. That's why Riker likes to play the trombone. He even said, oh yeah, that's like the best instrument because there's bone in the name. That's just how much of a space pervert Riker is. Riker, not Rikerd, is. They named a prison after him. That's how spaced debauchery he is. That's not a phrase, sorry. Man, this Beatles snuff I've been taking really killing me here. Oh, damn. There should be I think that's another idea I'm gonna have to think of, where the Ferengi sell everybody's Beatles snuff and they're constantly doing Beatles snuff all the time. And then for some reason, like the Beatles snuff is full of viruses, and then they fix it, and nothing really happens, and they learn nothing from it, and it's completely forgotten forever. Because it's a Ferengi episode, and when the Ferengi are involved, nothing matters. Like, who cares? It's like, oh, they're just comic relief. Might as well have a sexy episode with them too, because who cares? And I guess, it'll probably be like the 77th most popular episode. Even though there's nothing interesting in it. It should be the least popular episode, but it'll be the 77th for some reason. Star Trek fans are weird. Well, I'll think of some more ideas for Star Trek episodes. You could have more episodes with Data. And then you could have like Picard telling Data about things Data should already know, because if you remember, at the start of TNG, he was in Starfleet for 17 years. And he's third in command of the Enterprise. Apparently during that entire time, he learned absolutely nothing from anybody. How he got to be third in command of the Enterprise is a complete mystery. How he learned nothing over 17 years is a complete mystery. Like, you'd think he would have heard people talk during that time, but no. You think he'd go on the space internet, like the Space Urban Dictionary. Doesn't even take a look at it. Data is lazy. I'm very lazy too. That's why That's why I want to be a Star Trek writer. I just repeat episodes over and over again. Well, gotta go back to writing my Riker Picard fan fiction. See all y'all later.